Discover the truth. Stay lying. Discover the truth. Oh, they lie. Better know who you are. Discover the truth. 'Cause the truth don't change. No, the truth don't change. It remains the same. Better know who you are. Discover the truth.
What's all this talk about being black and Indian? I'm half this, half that, you must be kidding. Original, we the first to do it. And all these other nations are just our children. Even the pale skin was made in our image. Read the book of Ruth and check out your lineage. It's the melanin that gives us a dark complexion. That's a gene, no color, color separation. The Willie Lynch let it work to perfection. 2000 something and y'all still guessing. Don't know your nationality or your family tree, 'cause you refuse to listen to the prophet you are lead. So I put it in a rap to a mad production. So while your head bobbing, you can start.
Hey, salutations, people. Once again, you're tuned into the best. This is TV33 WHPR, and this is the Think Tank Show, and I'm your host, Brother Bay. Um, what's going on? I haven't seen y'all in a couple weeks. Things has changed for me. Things is a little different. I'm a little bit free now, So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excellent. I'm feeling great. Most of you remember 2015, October the 27th. I was released from the Department of Corruption, and I was let out here into society, and I walked it down. 2 years parole, 2 years paper. I did it. But I do want to give thanks to people that was pertinent in my release, people that don't even know that they was a part of me being sent back out into society and given a second chance. Uh, First of all, I want to shout out to my brother Hodo, who had the TV show here, the Hodo Show and the Other Viewpoint. He gave me my first shot as far as being a part of this institution that we know as WHPR. Every week, every Sunday, I was on his show. But it was because of Mr. R.J. Watkins, I was given the stamp of approval to be able to do the things that I was doing from behind the walls while I was incarcerated. And a lot of people remember when I started with Brother Hodo back in 2007. And I'm so grateful because if it wasn't for me given that opportunity, I may just be at the point of being released from the Department of Corruption. Because an institution like WHPR gave me my shot, the Department of Corruption didn't have a choice but to allow me to step back out into society because I had took it to another level, or I was given an opportunity to take it to another level because of this institution, being someone who was incarcerated at that particular hour. And I used to always talk to Mr. Henry Tyler on the telephone periodically, and I used to tell him that when I come home that I wanted to be a part of the WHPR family. I couldn't wait for him to train me and show me the ropes of being a part of this particular institution. And I did it. I was able to come home. I was able to be trained to a certain degree. I'm not the most computer savvy person, but Mr. Henry Tyler, he kept his foot in my you know what, and he made sure that I learned the things that I needed to learn in order to be an engineer down here in this institution, at this great institution. And because of me having my time occupied being around positive people like Mr. Henry Tyler, Mr. R.J. Watkins Jr., Sean, Most Wanted of Prime Time, Miss Maxine Willis, her husband, Kimberly McDay of Classic Gospel, Renee Stepping Out on Faith, Lola KV of Cousin to Cousin, and the list goes on and on. I was able to catapult myself to a whole nother level. And this particular institution has a major part in my life. I was able to meet someone that was dear to me, that became an intricate part of my life. We got married. Sister Sonia of Muhammad Mosque #1. I was able to link up with a lot of different people. I was able to publish books. I was able to do a lot of different things, and the best is yet to come. I have a lot to do. Now that I'm free, I'm able to. My agility is different now. My agility is not limited. I could take it to a whole nother level. I could travel across the country. We can go to the Virgin Islands. I can go to the Virgin Islands. I could do a lot of things, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But one of the things that I need people to understand is, and I can't forget about us, Nandi of Nandi's Knowledge Cafe. And I was talking to Nandi today at her new location. For those who don't know, Nandi's Knowledge Cafe is no longer on Woodward. It's on Oakland and Lincoln Street. Is her new location. And I was talking to her today, and she also gave me a lot of support with placing my books inside of her bookstore. You have Nefertiti, a Truth bookstore, when she was located at Northland Mall. She placed my books in her bookstore. Miss Williams of Hood Books, she supported me. A lot of people showed me a lot of support while I was incarcerated. And according to the stereotypes and the stigma of someone who's being incarcerated, they would teach our people, or it's a lot of propaganda out there that would tell them not to give a guy like me a second chance. And because these brothers and sisters was conscious enough and thought outside of the box and was willing to give me an opportunity, is the reason why y'all see me right now today on television. It's not something that is easy. It's something that you have to be persistent with. Because when I first wrote my novel Ghetto Racketeering, I wrote it in 1996, and at the time TV 33 was located at Channel 68 down the street on Woodward. And brother Nasir Muhammad, they had a radio show down there at on the Woodward location, and he encouraged me. The brother, he was encouraging me. He was keeping in contact with me, and we was doing a lot of corresponding. And he was telling me, he said, brother, you have a talent, you have a knack, you have a gift of gab, and you have something that you can definitely bring to the table that's beneficial to our people. And he was like, show the people that everybody that's incarcerated necessarily is not someone that's going to come back out into society, rape, rob, and pillage the community once again, and that our brothers and sisters that is incarcerated are in there doing things that's going to better themselves and take themselves to a whole nother level. And I was able to do that. And I'm grateful for the motivation that I got from the WHPR institution. It's not just because of 2007 when I was able to become a part of the weekly program, The Hodo Show and The Other Viewpoint, that I'm here. It's because of everybody that I said thus far, their motivation, their push, and their willingness to give a guy like me an opportunity. And the reason why I'm talking about this, and the reason why I'm saying this, because I want people to understand that people do deserve a second chance. Everybody is not going to, my co-host, Sister Katrina Muhammad, is here, and I'm going to have her slide in and come sit. And we're going to eventually get her on the camera. The sister, she was running late. She's on... She's on, and Henry Tyler, he coming here talking about, why am I telling everything? This is a celebratory moment for me. I don't care what nobody think. Eyes free.
Oh my goodness.
You can say what you want to say. I feel how I feel, and it is what it is. And there go the sister right there. The brother say I'm still a tattletale. You can't tell them brothers that in the penitentiary. Yeah, but I ain't got stitches. Right. I just got on the Detroit hat. You understand me? Snitches get stitches. Yeah, and I know the MGT sisters. They know how to fight. And, they know how to use baseball bats and stuff like that.
You know it.
And we on Facebook Live, and Sister Katrina Muhammad, I was telling everybody that.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sister. I was telling everybody as of Monday, actually became a free man. I actually walked down my parole. I actually become someone who is now a full-fledged citizen back into our community.
Praise be to Allah.
And the road that I traveled in order to get where I'm at today, people don't understand that when I was at the Mount Correctional Facility in 96, all the way through 99 before they started shipping us to a different state, trading us like cattle, it was because of this institution. Before it was TV 33, it was TV 68. Now, people may think that I'm making a fraudulent slip by saying TV 68 and I should be saying 62, and that's not the case. A lot of people don't know that WHPR, when it went to television, it was down the dial at channel 68, and it went simulcast. I think it was 1996, if I'm not mistaken. And I was in correspondence with people that was at this institution that was willing to deal with brothers and sisters that was incarcerated, come in, talk to us while they was on the radio, send us in information and stuff like that. And there was a brother by the name of Omar Nasir Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And they was called, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Flavor Squad. Mm-hmm. And he pushed me. I wrote my first novel, and I sent them a manuscript of my novel. And he told me, he was like, brother, you have a talent. And when I went to prison in 1991, when I first got incarcerated, when I went to prison, I couldn't read or write. And my vernacular was, you know what I'm saying, and the N-word, and, you know, a lot of different things that is stereotypical for brothers that come out the hood.
Right.
And I fell into that stereotype. But it was something about me that I knew that I had to change in order for me to elevate to a whole nother level, in order for me not to be the same old
Negro.
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to say something else, but you was being a little bit more diplomatic with that. Negro.
Right.
So
Negro.
You know. And I buckled down. I was like, I got to learn how to read. I got to learn how to write, because it's a lot of brothers that's incarcerated, and sisters, I can imagine. I don't know about the women prison system because I've never been there, but I could tell them about the men prison system. There is so much talent in there. The intellect, the level of intellect inside of the prison system is astronomical. It's unbelievable. You have literally doctors that's walking around in there, PhDs that's walking around in there. And a lot of brothers kept their foot on my proverbial neck, their proverbial foot on my proverbial neck. And they was like, brother, you what you mean you can't read? What you mean you can't write? Come on, we finna teach you. We finna show you. It wasn't the school system in the Department of Corruption that taught me how to read and write. It was the brothers that was walking around on the yard, the murderers, the rapists, the armed robbers, the carjackers, the drug dealers, you name it. These were the ones that was like, that's what we here for, bro, to make sure that you can better yourself, because one day you're going to go back out into society, and we want you to be able to contribute something to our community. We don't want you to go back out there and be the same old Negro that you was when you was in the community.
Right.
And I learned, and I started running across sisters that was coming inside the prison system that was taking care of us. They was feeding us the substance that we needed from an intellectual level. Mama Ife, Mama Ayo. I mean, the list goes on and on of the sisters that was coming in there. You also had the brothers that was coming in there as well. You had Brother Victor Muhammad, and I want to send my prayers out to
Definitely.
Brother Victor Muhammad and his family, because I understand that Brother Victor Muhammad is in the hospital.
Yes. And
our prayers go out to Brother Victor Muhammad. Then we had Brother Dawood Muhammad, who was coming in, and then you know we had brothers that came back out into the society. That was in there with me as well, that came out there and also did great things, like Brother Raphael X, or Brother Raphael Johnson, Brother Troy X, who became Brother Troy Muhammad, who is also the student minister of historical Muhammad Mosque number 1, located here in Detroit. So I'm not the only brother that actually, I mean, the list goes on. We got a long list of people. That's like maybe 2-3 shows, so we can talk about brothers and sisters who have came out into society and has shown to the system And that's the best way to throw up your finger at the system, as far as I'm concerned, is
To
being
be
successful.
Right. After you go through
After
that.
you have went through what you went through.
Because the brothers and sisters that are incarcerated, really, the odds are tremendously against them. They're not supposed to come out and do what you're doing right now. Have a show, taught yourself how to read, how to write, how to speak well, how to articulate, how to convey your thoughts, network with the community, doing positive things in the community. No, what they had expected you to do and what others to do is to get frustrated,
Don't get it twisted. I got frustrated.
Stay in that state of frustration. Stay in that pit, in that ditch,
Right.
stuck there, not able to lift yourself out of that, and then revert back to what you knew, what was familiar to you, which could end you up and land you right back where you came from. That is what the plan was. But you, with the help and by the grace of Allah, shocked them and changed the program.
Yeah. And the system actually
Deprogrammed yourself.
The system regurgitated me. It wasn't something that the system was like they stuck their finger down their throat and regurgitated me. It was like I became an illness in the belly of the beast. Where they was like, this particular illness is going to
We need to
spread.
let him,
It's going to spread.
Yeah.
He's going to
So
infect other
let's
people.
let him out. Let's get him out.
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because if people understand that he was, because I kept it on the low
Mm-hmm.
that I was doing what I was doing while I was incarcerated on television and radio for a long time with people that was in prison, because I didn't want people to come to me telling me that I need to be talking about frivolous things, how they caught a ticket and all this other type of stuff. But I want to say this, Terrian Morrow, she was also a rock. She was my co-host while I was out here. You helped me out.
Praise be to Allah.
You did some things for me while I was incarcerated. You came on the show.
Yes.
Sister,
Praise be to Allah.
yeah. And then, our sister, she gonna kick my butt.
Fatima?
Sister Fatima Muhammad.
Yes.
She was my co-host. She
Yes.
helped me out while I was
Yes.
incarcerated.
Yes.
I've already talked about my wife, Sonia,
Yes.
and what she did.
Yes.
And Brother Malik Shabazz. It's a lot of people that I want to thank, and I want to thank as far as, what you did for me, because if it
Praise be
wasn't
to
for that
Allah.
support,
Right.
I know for a fact that I
Praise be
wouldn't
to Allah.
I wouldn't have made it
Right.
out here at the time that I made it.
Right.
It's emotional for me because I walked it down.
Right. Praise
I
be
did
to
it.
Allah.
Wasn't easy.
Yes.
It was not easy at all.
Right.
But it was because our people supported me.
yes.
And our people was taught. I hear people on Facebook and other social medias talking about black people can't never get it right and yada, yada, yada. And they say things about our people. But I need people to understand, if it wasn't for my people holding me up and
Right.
lifting
There are
me
those
up, I wouldn't
positive
be here.
examples. Now, here's what we're taught in the nation. We're taught to settle on the best part.
Right.
And the best part is exactly that. You could walk out of that experience and say, oh my God, I went through this, that, and the other from these COs in there or whatever, or other inmates, or, or maybe some people who didn't support you while you were in there. You could focus on that. But you're doing what we're taught to do, which is focus on the best part. And the best part is the support that you had. You're going to make me start crying.
I mean,
Oh,
people
brother,
don't.
dear
What you
brother,
don't.
I know
what you
you're
don't
feeling that.
You don't understand that
Praise
what
be
I
to
went
Allah.
through.
That is
If
so
it
beautiful.
was not for everybody that I
Right.
mentioned, I may still be in there. I may have killed somebody.
Now,
Someone
let
may
me
have
ask you
killed
this,
me.
because we have similar beliefs. You don't believe in a mystery God.
No.
God works through people.
Yes.
So why do you think God worked through the people that you mentioned, and there are more, I'm sure, to help you? Why do you think Allah allowed that to happen?
I actually had this conversation with somebody 2 days ago, and I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I told them. It was the question was a little different, but it's amongst the same line. And the reason why that happened is because when you tap into that God that's within yourself,
Right.
it's who you are.
Yes, sir.
That Allah in you, that Jesus in you, that Muhammad in you.
right.
When you tap into that, it's magnetic.
right.
You're going to pull that energy to you.
Of the like mind.
And when you pull that energy to you, you can't fool God.
No.
Because the only thing that you're going to pull to you when you're tapped into that God energy is God.
Right.
You know, God ain't finna be working with the devil.
Right.
You know, God may have the devil do something for him.
Right.
And the devil may not know that he's doing God's work. But you not finna tap off into that God energy.
Right.
And when I allow myself to actually wrap my mind around who God is, then I actually had to understand that I had to dig within myself and pull out the best part of me. And when I pulled out the best part of me, people went to coming. People went to
Praise
accepting
be
me.
to
Doors
Allah.
went to. It was. I really was like.
So
the
it was
brother.
the putting the positive and the positivity out with yourself that then, like a magnet, drew positive from others back in.
I was like James Brown. You ain't got to open up the door for me. Just show me where the door is. I'll take care of the rest. You know, one thing I learned how to do when I was out in the streets, I knew how to kick in the door.
Yeah.
Just show me the door. I
Right.
kick that mug in and get in there and do what I need to do on my own. You ain't
Right.
got to give me a doggone thing.
Right.
Just give me the audacity to get the hell out of my way.
Right.
You know, just give me that. Just get out my way. Don't get in my way and let me do what the hell I need to do. And I can show you better than I can tell you.
So now that you have reached I guess a milestone of completing, is it the parole?
Mhm.
What's next?
Um,
What
have-
happens with people that are in that situation when you complete parole? Is there a possibility you can then get the entire record expunged?
Oh no. I can't. I'm not even gonna fool myself to believe that I can get my record expunged. I can't, because you know a person that can get their record expunged is someone who has one felony.
Okay.
I've been having run-ins with the law since I was like 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
I grew up.
But a lot of that is juvenile,
Yeah,
which
but
is
it was consistent. So
Okay.
all the way up until my adult years, to once I became an adult, which is 17 years old.
okay.
That's what they called a keeper back then. So once you become 17 years old and you commit a felony, you don't go to the juvenile facility. You go to the county jail, or
Okay.
you're sent to the county jail.
Okay.
So I've been having run-ins with the law for a very long time. So no, I'm not fooling myself to believe that I can run for a political office.
Okay.
I'm not. That's not. I wouldn't want to even be. And I'm like Farrakhan with that one. I don't.
Right.
Even, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
even be a part of that
Right,
system.
right.
Not like that.
Right.
But what the benefit of that is for me right now is my agility is unlimited. My agility was limited within that 2-year
Right.
span, because I can only go so far. I can only stay out so late. I can only be around so many
Oh,
different
okay.
type of people.
So your
et cetera,
freedom
et cetera.
was still regulated.
Yeah, it was regulated.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people was like, you free now. And I was telling people, no, I'm not.
Right.
I have literally a ball and a chain around my ankle. I'm not
That's
free.
important to say that, because I mean, what are the statistics of people that are in this, like, it's almost like a state of purgatory where you're sort of kind of free, but you're not, because you have these regulations you have to, and these policies you have to adhere to. So if you would have broken any of those regulations or policies, then what would be the consequence? They would then return you
Okay.
to a state prison, or what would have happened if you didn't comply
Okay.
with what they were asking?
That's
you
a good
do?
question. Okay, I had 25 to 40. I was let back out into society on a trial basis to see if I can make it, if I can adjust back into society.
Okay.
If I would not have made it, they would have, like if I would have violated parole or something. And I've came close to certain incidents where, you know, they could have violated me because of my stupidity. I mean, I was reemerging back out here. I was, you know, I was getting adjusted to a lot of different.
Right.
I wasn't actually breaking the law,
Right.
you know, because I would have been gone. But if I would have broke the law and went back to prison, they could have kept me for that 40. See,
Wow.
the 25 years is my minimum,
Okay.
but the 40 years is my max on what they could have kept me for.
Oh.
So now I have discharged from my sentence. I have no, they don't have anything on me, period. If I was to commit another crime, that is a whole separate crime, and whatever the sentence is, that's what it would be for me. But if I would have committed a crime while I was out in society, I would have had to go back to prison and complete my sentence with the 20 to 40, 25 to 40.
Wow.
They could have kept me up to the 40 years. Then I would have had to start my sentence on the crime that I committed. So
Wow.
that was the severity of it.
Right.
So what people have to understand about when you're let back out into society on that basis, you're not free.
Right.
You're not. You just have an extended dog leash around your neck that they snatch periodically just to let you know that we still got you in the backyard, player.
Right.
You know,
You're not
stop
free.
playing. You know,
Yeah.
we let you out, use the restroom, do what we want you to do, but we back out into society. We back the same thing over and over and over again. But when you get to the point where you did the time now this is the dilemma. This is something that I need to deal with. This is something that I need to entertain. Doing a long extended sentence and then coming back into society. The Department of Corruption is not preparing you.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
It's not. It's not.
You know, because you take a person out of their normal environment. You put them in an environment like that. Then you release them on parole, and they're supposed to then all of a sudden assimilate and gel into the system, into society with no bumps, no problems, nice smooth transition. But the reality of that, because you're talking about the mind, the body, the spirit, you really need a program to enter into to help you prepare for this new reality of free but kind of not free, of what are some of the successful things that other parolees have done to make sure they ensure their success. Successful things like they immediately find work. They immediately, get in a secure, loving relationship in marriage. So they're not all out here with a bunch of different women.
That whole- I have to stop
they
you.
don't
I have to stop you with
contact
that.
old friends that are into some negative
That
things.
marriage, the whole marriage situation within itself, when you come back, you get married while you're incarcerated, but you don't know nothing about that institution that's called marriage. And when you come back out into society and you have done a long sentence, you're ready to come home and be with your wife. You're ready to come home and be in society, but you're not prepared. It's a big difference.
Yes.
Of being ready and not being prepared. And when you come home, you don't know nothing. I still don't know. I've learned some things, but you don't know nothing about being a husband, especially when you go to prison as a young man
Right.
who
Right.
was a Rolling Stone. And then when you go into the prison system and then you're there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and you meet somebody that you marry, and when you come out into society, it's things that's going to hit you that's really going to be tempting. And in most cases, we're not strong enough to handle that on a consistent basis. Yeah, we're duck, we're bob and weave, and we'll come through a little situation here and there, but you're gonna fall. But you gotta have the strength to get up.
Okay.
And those lessons, that preparation is not there within the Mississippi Department of Corruption. What they do is when they say that people have received therapy and went through classes and all that, for the
Right.
most part, that's paperwork talk.
Oh, okay.
That's formality. That's for the money. That's for the
Right.
federal funding. I'm gonna give you an example. This is true story. This is just how it goes. Someone who is in prison for murder, armed robbery, rape, violent crimes, and they're sentenced to a long sentence. May it be 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, whatever it may be. they don't put you in the programs that they consider to be a necessity in order for you to come back into society until 6 months to your release.
Wow.
You trying to tell me I done did 25 years in prison, then my 6 months before I go home, you want to put me in a assault of offenders class or a sexual offenders class or something like that?
Right.
When I needed that my first 5
Right,
years,
exactly.
my 15 years, then my 20.
Right.
I need that on a consistent basis, and
Exactly.
you cannot get in those classes until you're 6 months to your release.
Wow.
That's garbage.
So this whole thing about rehabilitation really does not exist.
It does not exist
In the system.
It does not. Rehabilitation is a farce. It's just a word that they're using to the same way that they fearmonger. The same way when politicians run for major offices and they talk about getting tough on crime and cleaning up the community and blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. They just talk about it when they need to talk about
Now,
it.
let me ask you this quick question. I mean, this is good we're talking about this because these are things I've actually been wanting to know. What is the difference between a state-run or owned institution and a private-owned institution? Is one better than the other? Does one provide, quote-unquote, rehabilitation, whereas the other doesn't? Or neither is good? They're both just liars, and the system is just terrible, whether it be run by the state or run privately.
Well, sister, you asked some great questions. The difference between a private-run prison and a state-run prison and or a federal-run prison,
Is that the correct? Okay. Or whether it's state and federal.
you have state, federal, and privatized
Okay,
prisons.
okay.
You know, you got your brother like Michael Jordan and Bob Barker and a lot of them that's invested in these private it's a lot of
Wow.
it's a lot of people that's invested in these private owned
Okay.
prisons. But the difference between the best way that I can show you the difference between a private owned prison and a state ran prison is Satan and Lucifer.
So they're both the same, basically.
They're the same. It's like Hillary Clinton,
And Bernie
Donald Trump.
Sanders or whatever.
It's like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Yeah, Republican,
You-
Democrat,
you-
same thing.
They say, well, the lesser of both evils.
Right,
They both evil.
right.
What do you mean?
How?
The lesser of both evils.
Yeah.
They're evil. It's like choosing
Yeah.
to get stabbed or shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The end result is the same.
The end result is the same.
Right.
So it's like you're looking at Lucifer and Satan. You say, well, Satan is a little bit less evil than Lucifer. What do you mean? That's his
Right.
brother.
Right.
What is he
Cut
talking
from the
about?
same
They
cloth.
cut from the same cloth.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you saying you got the right wing and you got the left wing, but what you got to understand is this is a bird. So the bird don't fly if both wings ain't working.
Right.
So the Democratic Party is the left wing and the Republican Party is the right wing, but if one of them ain't working with the bird can't fly.
Right.
You
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
That's
So
right.
they working together. You know,
That's right.
it's all just a bunch of,
So
garbage.
no rehabilitation in any of those settings.
There's no rehabilitation inside the Department of Corrections or corruption, no matter or nowhere you look at it. I'm telling you, these people they got control over the media system, and they got the best talkers and thinkers in their think tank, and they will get on TV and they will utilize words to a level that you can't imagine, and they will sit there and they would just bald-faced lie to the people, and the people will say, well, if the white man said it, it must be true. Well, what was he doing to cause the police to shoot him? He wasn't doing nothing. Well, the police just ain't finna mess with you with nothing. Is you serious?
Right.
You trying to tell me the police just don't mess with people just because they can? Sure they do.
Right.
You
We
got
see-
people that's
we
in
see
the-
that all the time on cell phone footage on Facebook.
Yeah.
The cell phone journalists that are out there. We see it all the time.
That's my answer to the difference between
I mean,
the federal
even
system
in Baltimore, it was on Facebook. They had the police officers forgot to cut off their cameras, their body cameras, because now they're starting to do these body cameras, and they forgot to cut them off, and they actually filmed themselves planting drugs in a person's car while they had the people locked up, and the people were saying,
got a caller. You
"Y'all
wanna
are
take it?"
lying." Oh yeah, go ahead.
Caller, you on the air with the Think Tank Show. Please
Assalamu
state your
alaikum.
name and what state and city you calling from, please. Caller, we're talking to you. Oh.
We can't
Oh,
hear
you
him.
hung- No, they hung up.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
Call back. And obviously you had something you wanted to say, but I apologize for
sorry.
cutting you off. Go ahead, sister.
No. So basically, the police in Baltimore filmed themselves planting drugs in the car of this African American or black couple that they had put in the back seat of the squad car, and you could hear the couple saying, "Those aren't our drugs. You're liars. You all are liars. You just plant. Now you know that those are yours." But the police didn't realize that they didn't cut their body cams off, and they filmed themselves breaking the law.
Now that's just one case.
That's just one case.
that's
But I mean, just
documented.
imagine
How many
before
other-
these body cams came around.
How many other cases?
How many other cases? How many other times did this happen? And yet it wasn't filmed because the technology of police wearing body cams had not actually been created or implemented or what have you. So imagine how many times that has happened.
And I go out on the limb.
I mean, it's
and I
just
say
frightening
millions.
to me to think about
I say
how many
millions.
of our people have been set up.
I say millions.
Yeah.
I go out on the limb and I say millions.
I mean, yeah.
I remember when I was selling drugs, and this was back in the 80s before I went to prison. When I was selling drugs, I started selling heroin, then I started selling crack cocaine. And I remember on both occasions where the police would take my drugs, put it down a sewer. One time they just stepped on it, crushed it up beneath their feet. But the money I had in my pocket, they kept
put
it.
in their pocket.
They kept it.
Wow.
I remember this happened on more than one occasion.
And they were supposed to turn all of that in as evidence, not keep it.
They didn't even lock me up. They just took my money and asked me, what you want? You want to go down with this, or you want us to get rid of this and keep this?
So basically, they robbed you. They
Yes.
committed a crime.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. 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 I know for a fact that crime is big business. It's
Oh.
not just big business for
It's-
the criminal per se,
$1 billion industry.
but it's big business. Not only it's big business for road cops. Not all police are bad.
Right.
I would be.
Not
I
all
would
police
be,
are bad.
I would be on.
And
some
it's really
garbage.
terrible that the bad ones that are out there
Mm-hmm.
get so much press and are able to dominate the stories that the ones that are actually wearing the uniform and doing what they swore to do, which is serve and protect, they almost, you never even hear about the good stories that they're doing, the lives that they're saving, the children that they're helping, and all the other good things that good police officers really are out there doing. It's the bad ones that dominate the media and just take over, where the terrible things that they're doing just permeates your mind, where that's all you can. When you think police, that's what you think of. You think of the negative. You don't even think of the positive.
And
It's not even in your mind.
Shout out to Sister Denise Muhammad and Sister Zuri. They also was contributors in helping me to keep the think
Oh, that's
tank
excellent.
alive while I was incarcerated as well.
Yes.
But I'm gonna say this right here. It's like saying, and you got people that's drug dealers and gang members that give out turkeys on the weekend. They give out dinners on the weekend. They cut grass and all that type of stuff. That's like saying everybody that's a blood and crip and a bad blood and crip. So
Yeah.
when you look at the police department, you have road cops that's in the police department, but the road cops don't get snitched on by their fellow officer because they
Yeah.
got this blue wall of silence. And if you
Right.
snitch on a fellow police officer, you're doomed. Your career is over.
Not only just career, but your life may be
Yeah,
in
it's
jeopardy.
over. So and it's equivalent to someone that's in a blood or crip or vice lord, and someone saying that we ain't finna kill these babies, but yet something happened, and he's standing on the stand. He's saying, "Well, I told him don't kill the babies." They're gonna be like, "Well, I don't care if you told him don't kill the babies or not. You shouldn't have been a vice lord or a gangster disciple."
I think the only way around this issue to really be able to decipher and distinguish who is who is cameras.
Cameras.
And not allowing them to cut them off. No cutting off of dash cam, no cutting off of body cams. Like, cameras. That's the only way, because
Caller,
they're
is you
not
there?
going to tell on each other. Oh, assalamu
Caller,
alaikum.
are you there?
Hello, Brother Bay. It's MC Gino. Hello, Sister Katrina Muhammad. How are
What's
you?
going
brother?
on,
I'm doing
Gino?
very well.
I enjoyed you last night too up there at Opium Lounge.
Yes, I enjoyed you as well. I want to call and publicly thank you because I'm watching you on Comcast 91 in Redford.
In Redford?
Yes, in Redford.
Okay,
Right
shout
over
out to
on
Redford, Michigan.
off the Warren, over on Barmel, off the Majestic area. In West Parkway and Ann Arbor Trail area, watching your Comcast 91.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for watching.
No problem, Brother Bay. Thank you for coming out. Can't wait to see you and the whole squad next Thursday.
All right, bro. We'll be front line and center, man. I told you we'll be there, and when we said yesterday on the round table we'll be there, everybody had different engagements that they had already planned out. So when you hit us like that, a lot of times it be at the last moment things. But I was like, I can go there now. I'm going.
Well, great.
I went up
that's terrific, and that's why I say. And then if you guys miss Thursday night, then come check me out Sunday night at 7 Mile Encore.
Okay, I got an invitation to go to a particular party tonight at a particular location tonight, and I'm looking forward to going there. Now I can do a little bit more promotion and advertising and networking with people, in different places.
Of course, we're looking forward to having you network with us on Thursday because we need more support and Sunday. So come on out and support.
Okay.
Word from the street and the new Barmel Entertainment Group.
I hate I didn't leave with some of that cake.
I know, but hey, trust and believe. Your co-host as well should come on out. So
Hey, MC Gino, I need you to do me a favor, brother. I need you to get this word out here. Second Ebenezer Church is giving out Thanksgiving food vouchers tomorrow, which is Saturday, November the 4th
nice.
at 10 a.m., located at 14601 DeQuinder, Detroit, Michigan. And for more information, people can call 313-867-4700. Once again, that Second Ebenezer Church is giving out Thanksgiving food vouchers tomorrow, November the 4th, which is on a Saturday, at 10 a.m., located at 14601 DeQuinder, Detroit, Michigan. And for more information, you can call 313-867-4700.
No
And let
problem.
the people,
I
let
can
people
get the word
also,
out.
Gino,
Just
let
contact
people,
me at
Gino, slow it
313-854-3161.
down. I'm going to have to cut you off. All right.
Send the text.
Also, let people understand that keep it locked right here at TV33 WHPR so you can find out more about the memorial that's going to be taking place for our one of our great brothers, Mr. Brady Keys. A lot of us, ate a lot of Big Macs. Oh, my God. I'm finna hear about that.
Right.
Some Whoppers. We done ate a lot of Whoppers at Burger King right down here on Woodward. Mr. Brady Keys. Mr. Brady Keys was a staple in our community, and Mr. Brady Keys did a lot of support for WHPR, this institution as well. Mr. R.J. Watkins, Henry Tyler, Miss Maxine Willis, Keys, kids, things like that. So people need to understand that those who don't know, our beloved brother, Mr. Brady Keys, has become one of our ancestors. Keep
May
it
Allah
locked
be
for
pleased
more
with him.
information about the memorial that's going to be having
Okay.
right here at TV33 WHPR.
Wow.
But I needed to put that out there. My sister, Kimberly McDay of Classic Gospel, wanted me to make sure people understood that Second Ebenezer Church is giving out Thanksgiving food vouchers on Saturday, November the 4th.
Please write that
at
down.
10 a.m., located at 14601 DeQuinder in Detroit, Michigan. For more information, you can call 313-867-4700. Okay. What's going
That's
on?
excellent.
I don't remember what we
Well,
was talking about.
we were talking about the system. We were talking about corrupt police officers. We were talking about how we can go about catching them. And the last statement I made before the caller is that my idea of the best way would be video surveillance. Like, it just seems like you got to catch these guys red-handed, because you're right. The blue wall of silence, police will not tell on other police.
That's right.
And even though they, have an internal affairs division and they try to do their best.
That's their snitch division.
Yeah, right. They try to do their best to ascertain and catch the ones that are among them not upholding what they swore to do, their oath, which is serve and protect. you know, I think the only way you can really catch them is red-handed through surveillance.
Right, because most of the complaints or the grievances that are filed because of their deplorable actions under that particular badge,
Right.
it falls on deaf ear. You can file your grievance, you can make your complaints, but for the most part, I think it's, you know, put in a particular pile with the rest of them, and it goes on. And they have people that's trained to spin you on the telephone. They're trained what to say to you
Yeah.
to make you feel a little bit better, like you actually made your complaint and something's going to happen. But it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, it goes on until they're actually caught red-handed, like you said.
Exactly.
And by that time, how many people have been victimized?
Exactly. But we really need to start teaching our people how to deal and handle the police. We need to have more classes like that, because when you're pulled over, you know, there's a certain type of language and tone that you need to have when you're dealing with an authority figure that has an armed and loaded weapon at your head. I mean, there's just a certain way you have to conduct yourself to make sure you get out of that particular situation alive. And we have to do a better job at reaching our people, especially our young people that have a lot of energy. In some cases, they haven't been taught how to handle their emotion, right? How to rise above their emotion into the thinking of a God. We have to do a better job. When I say we, I'm talking about myself too. We have to do a better job at reaching out to our young people to teach them how to handle authority figures like that, because I'm just getting tired of seeing these videos where, you know, our brothers and sisters are just being thrown on the ground, tossed around, tased, in some cases shot, you know, because
kills
they
me-
didn't
what-
respond a certain way. And then when I say that, let me be clear,
Oh, my God.
there are many of us and our brothers and sisters who did respond the right way, who did say, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They did respond in a polite manner, and they still were shot and killed or, you know, or attacked by the police. So it's almost like, you know, a double-edged sword, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I still say that being trained and being taught is better than not being trained and being taught. And you create a better percentage of chance to survive a situation like that.
Who isn't taught? Who isn't taught? What male is not taught? You don't put your hand on no woman. You do not put your hand on no woman. I don't care what the. Now, if you defending your life, that's different. But you don't put your hands on no woman. You is a punk if you put your hands
Right.
on a woman. You learn that as a toddler. Do not put your hands on a woman. Why do police officers think that they any better? You a man. Why is you beating on a woman?
Something about that badge and the blues and the gun that I think many of them start to develop. They accuse doctors of this, right, of having a God complex. I think many police officers that abuse black people in our community have that same God complex.
Illusions of
and they're
grandeur.
walking around thinking badge, blues, gun, I can do whatever I want to do. Who are you?
Right.
I'm God. And you're going to do whatever it is I want you to do.
I actually
If I want you to hop on one foot and bark like a dog, then that's what you're going to do because I've told you to do it. And that's how they act. They act in a very dogmatic way with our people. Now, I mean, obviously, we don't respond very well to that because it's been this clash. And this is why the minister said we need to separate because we can't, it seems like we can't live in peace with these people. Like, there's no peace, even though we're trying so desperately to have peace. And we really do, I think, in the hearts of every single black man and woman, we really do want to have peace, right? But there's no peace. So what do? We just continue to march? I mean, the girl Tamika Mallory was talking about how she got ripped off the plane. Did you hear that interview earlier today? American Airlines, and
We
they've
only
had
got 2
many.
minutes left. I'm sorry.
They had many complaints against them. Long story short, she's the sister behind the Black Power, Black Lives Matter movement, and she just had something happen to her, you know, in an airport. And I mean, how much more can we take?
Well, they have
know?
this thing called face recognition, where certain people is on a particular list, and when they go through certain places, their face come up, and the computer, it reveals who they are, what organizations they are affiliated with. They even talking about now having the cameras at these green light locations here in the city of
And then
Detroit.
there's Google.
where
I mean, they probably
yeah.
Googled that sister's name and said, "Oh, she's with Black Lives Matter.
Right. So,
we're gonna do
yeah,
her like
so,
this."
Yeah.
It
So
was just terrible.
But anytime a police officer beat on a woman,
yeah.
men, I'm talking about, they actually beat them with their fists
Yeah.
and with batons and all this other stuff. They should not get a free pass
No.
because they're law enforcement. A man ain't got no business putting his hands on no woman. I don't care
That's
if
assault.
you in the hood or you a police officer.
Right.
That is bold. That is an
Right.
assault. That is not
Straight
right.
up.
That is
Yeah, that's a
morally
crime.
crazy.
Yeah.
How can you defend that? How
Right.
can you give a police officer a free pass to walk after you watched him on a camera beat down a woman on the side of a road? Actually, they done got a couple cases where they was pregnant, just throwing them down,
Right.
and they just boldly see that they got a
Right.
big. Look, we gotta go. I
have to go.
apologize, but y'all make sure y'all keep it locked right here,
Yes.
because we got a beautiful, beautiful sister who has a program that's coming up. She's a minister. She
Yes.
be ministering to me. I be having the Holy Ghost,
She
and
is.
I'm a Muslim. And I be like,
Muslim.
praise Jesus. That,
It's been many times, her and I, something I'm talking about, and after the show, she said, "You know what? I was going to talk about that same exact subject." So it just shows that we're all one people.
That's all.
It's
One-
all
that's
unity,
one God. Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
one God. It's all unity, and I mean, I love her. She's beautiful. So you have to keep it locked right here.
And I know I give my salats, I give praises to Allah, but when the sister gets finished with me, I'll be anointed. I'll be like,
That's
Lord.
right.
I'll be like,
Amen. Amen from the church section. Amen.
Right. So make sure y'all keep it locked right here at TV33
Praise be to
WHBR,
Allah.
the best station in the nation.
The
You
best
have been
station.
locked into the Think Tank Show, and I'm your brother Bay, and this is our sister
Katrina.
Katrina Muhammad. And we say Assalamu alaikum, Islam, what up, though, and I'll see you next week.
And don't
Peace.
forget your book.
Oh, that's the book of the week.
Yeah, book of the week.
We
I've been
got-
on this book for a long time,
Right.
so it's all good.
All
Assalamu
right.
alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Discover the truth. Stay lying. Discover the truth. Oh, they lie. Better know who you are. Discover the truth. 'Cause the truth don't change. No, the truth don't change. It remains the same. Better know who you are. Discover the truth.
All this talk about being black and Indian. I'm half this, half that. You must be kidding. Original, we the first to do it. And all these other nations are just our children. Even the pale skin was made in our image. Read the book of Ruth and check out your lineage. It's the melanin that gives us a dark complexion. That's a gene, no color separation. The Willie Lynch let it work to perfection. 2000 something and y'all still guessing. Don't know your nationality or your family tree, 'cause you refuse to listen to the prophet you are lead. So I put it in a rap to a mad production. So while your head bobbing, you can